Hey, Mom Nation. Welcome to our From the Heart podcast, where we share inspirational stories, useful information, and we discuss a wide variety of women-related topics. While you're listening to this episode on your favorite podcast platform, please subscribe to our channel and rate us so that we can get this information out to the moms that need to hear it. If you'd like to join the conversation, we are at Mom Nation USA. That's our handle on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We hope you enjoy the show. Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for being with us. Welcome back to another episode of From the Heart, where we talk through inspirational stories and we talk with women that have really risen from the ashes. And today is very much a story about exactly that. And I'm excited to dive in, Genelle, and to learn a little bit more about you. I understand that you have written a book about this particular topic or surrounding this topic, and I would love to learn a little bit more about that too. So let's jump right into it. Can you tell us just a little bit about you?
Okay, thank you, Katie. My name is Genelle Guzman-McMillan. I am originally from the island of Trinidad, and I came here to the US in my mid-20s. I work at the World Trade Center for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. I was on the 64th floor of that building on 9/11.
Wow. And how many floors, if you could refresh my memory, how many floors are in the building?
The building consists of 110 stories.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty much right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. Mm-hmm.
And I know that I know that it's been a while, but I'm sure that it's still a difficult topic to chat about or to describe. But can you take us back? Tell us what you were doing. Tell us what happened.
Well, it's been 22 years, 22
Yeah.
years, I believe. And yeah, when I start talking about it, it kind of refreshes my memories. I try to just go about my daily life as now. But I remember it was a Tuesday, 9/11 happened on a Tuesday of that day. I remember going to work, getting in there for 8:30 a.m. And I usually get in on time, and I was on time as usual. I remember going up to the staircase, have to take 2 elevators to get to my floor. So I'll make it from the lobby up to the 40-something floor elevator and then switch over to get to the 64th floor.
Wow.
And I remember just getting up there on time, just putting my bags in my cubicle, setting up myself, and hurry back downstairs. Came back up, went to the cafeteria downstairs, came back upstairs, and I was just sitting there. People were coming in, other workers were coming in, and I was just sitting there, just taking my time, have my coffee, setting up my stuff, and then my coworker came over, and we was just having a conversation. So that probably was around maybe after 7, 8 o'clock, probably, not too keen on the time. And while, we were having a conversation talking about it happened on a Tuesday. I didn't see her on the Monday. So we were talking about the weekends. And plus we was talking about what happened on Monday. And we was just chit-chatting. She was standing by my cubicle and I was sitting, facing her, sitting. And within that time, the building just shook. We felt a shake. And
You didn't hear anything. Excuse me. You didn't hear anything. You just felt it.
when hearing, we had like a big boom, but felt the shake more than the boom.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, we look at each other and like, what was that? What was
Yeah.
that? And it I got up. I walked towards the window because the building is made of glass. So I
Right.
walked towards the glass window and I could see in the sky there was like this papers, debris that's floating in the sky, all pieces of papers in the sky. And she went over to the other side and, we were asking like, what the hell happened? What happened?
Yeah.
So we were going back and forth, went down to the other end of the building, like, what happened? And then while we were going down to figure out what was happening, that's when we saw some of the coworkers just grab their bags and like, let's go. Something happened. We gotta leave. And I'm trying to remember exactly how it felt. you know, being there, I knew that I experienced an earthquake being in the Caribbean. I did, but
Hmm.
it wasn't to a big magnitude that, you know, anybody suffer or anything like that. We just know like when a place shakes, we know it's an earthquake. So I thought it was an earthquake at first. But after trying to figure out what was going on, going back and forth, someone told us that the plane had hit the building. And at that point, how is that possible?
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, I was like, how is that possible? But in my mind, also like a plane hit the building. I'm thinking, oh, we in the heart of Manhattan, so maybe it's just a little carrier jet, a little that clip happened. But when I look out to the window, I saw a ball of fire like on the roadway. So there was like a ball of fire. So the distance I couldn't recognize what really it was, but it just feel like a ball of flame, and the debris was just still floated in the sky. All the papers, and I okay, so maybe a plane had clipped the building, and the window get blown open, and that's why. And I remember being there just trying to figure out what, not even thinking about leaving because the fact that the alarm system didn't go off. We had training on emergency evacuation before,
Hmm.
and that didn't happen. So it's no way we was going to leave. I didn't think about that because it's like I didn't hear anything going on.
Right.
Just trying to figure out what was going on. Me and Susan and Rosa, and we was just walking back and forth. And then when we made up with the other people, they said the plane had hit the building. And that's when we went into the conference room and we saw the reporting of a plane, a possibly terrorist attack.
Wow.
Oh, and that's when my heart just, I didn't, I was frozen. I didn't know what was that.
How
And
scary.
yeah, and I recall this trying. I made a couple phone calls. I called my family, I called my brothers, I called my sister, I called my boyfriend at the time, and we was trying to figure out what is a terrorist attack. I did not know what is this. Never experienced this. Didn't know that it's happening. I only see
Hmm.
this on TV, and I
Hmm.
can't believe like what the hell is a terrorist attack. It's the in my thinking. Um, is it like people gonna come upstairs with guns and shoot us up? So that's why I'm just looking at it on the
Yeah.
TV, like that's what a terrorist is. And so after going back and forth, call the police, call the Port Authority police. We called, making a couple phone calls to see what was the extent of what's going on the outside. And actually, the police told us to wait, stay put. Someone is going to come and get us. And while all of this is happening, the lights went off, flicker, and then it came back on. And but still, yet no no bells of alarm going off for us to leave the building.
So no evacuation happening.
No evacuation process. That did not happen. And when we all went up to the conference room, coming to think, when we were all finally together, it was 15 of us remained on that floor, the 64th floor. Everybody else who was there left right away, and whoever was coming up didn't went back down. So we remained there trying to follow instruction of what happened and what should we do. And being there, I remember um, we went into the conference room. We put on the television was on, and we saw the live reporting of a possibly terrorist attack. The news were reporting that the plane had hit other building, and right there and then, I couldn't believe it. I knew I thought I was going to die. How am I getting out from here?
I'm
I called
sure.
my family to say goodbye. I called my boyfriend. He works in Manhattan at the time, and he he can see the World Trade Center from where he worked, and he knew I work at the World Trade Center. And he told me to leave. He told me to get out. Why are they taking so long? I said, okay, I'm going to leave. I told him I love him. I'm going to meet him outside of the department store, which was Century 21. I said, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to meet you outside. And he said, okay, I'll be there. I'll be there waiting for you. And I decided to leave, but I didn't. He told me to leave, but I didn't leave. I just waited along with other people and, trying to figure out, everybody's talking like, oh, we should wait. We have to stay. They're going to come. It's going to be fine. And everybody was just talking. And I was just crying and trying to figure out what's going on. And at that moment, my friend, Rosa, she had an asthma attack. We had to deal with her having an asthma attack. She couldn't breathe.
Oh,
So
no.
we had to kind of calm her down. Then when I walked to the other side of the building, there was smoke coming in on one of the doors. And I remember the guy just told us to just grab anything's in cubicles, jackets, whatever it has there, go wet it at the kitchen, wet them, put them at the door. And so it was a chaos being there. And people trying to figure out, I work with engineers, well, so I kind of trusted in them. And they were saying, okay, I'm going to check the staircase to see if it's clear, because we cannot definitely not going to use the elevator. So people were checking the staircase, and then one of the guys said the staircase seems very clear, we should leave. And in that time, there was a debate of if we should go or if we should stay. So they call up the police again, they call up Port Authority police, call up 911, and they told us to wait again. And we waited. And while we were waiting, everybody's making their phone calls, who's crying on the phone, saying their goodbyes. It was crazy for me. Right now I can't even recall how many things I did exactly, but I knew that I was nervous. I was scared.
Yeah.
And it felt I wasn't paying notice to the time or the hour, but it felt like forever. And then one of the guys decided that it's too long. We've been here too long. We have to leave. And before we decided to leave, we felt a neck shake. The building swayed again from side to side. And that point, my heart dropped. I'm going to die. This is not happening. And when that building shook again, I don't know what went through anyone's mind, but I see my daughter, I see my family, I just see everybody's face that's flash right before me, because I know it's no way we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
And apparently what had happened, the shake that we felt, is that the other building collapsed. Yeah. So one of the guy got so frustrated, he just decided, he said, listen, I'm going to check the staircase to the other side of the floor, staircase B, and I'm going to see what's going on. So he went over there, then he came back, he said, the staircase is lit, so we could leave. And then he said, is anybody going to go with me? Oh, you guys going to still wait? And there was a debate with an old man saying, he's an engineer. He's saying that he's not going to leave. He's going to wait because the building is designed not to fall. It could only go a certain dimension, but it's not. And I was like livid. I can't take this. And me and Rosa and the other people said, no, let's just go. Let's just go. We've been here long enough. Let's just leave. And we decided to leave. The guy, he led the way. I'm behind him, Rosa, we holding hand and we're crying, and we all headed out to the staircase. And while we going down to the staircase is pretty wide. And while we were going down, counting each staircase as we descend from the 64 to the 63, I think when we made it to the 30 something staircase, there was the firefighters coming up the staircase. So when we saw the firefighters with their gas coming up the staircase, I felt a bit of relief because I said, okay, we gonna make it. We almost there to the something staircase. We gonna go, we gonna make it. And I'm holding Rosa's hand and we still going. And the firefighters told us, is everything is okay. Stay at the side, keep it, you guys need anything, you need water, anything, but we all had water and everything. They said everything is just keep going, just keep going. And so we continue going down the staircase. And while going down, I had a really tall boots, and it was hurting. Rosa asked me, she said, "Do you want to take your shoes off? You don't think you should take your shoes off to, get a." I said, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just want to get out. I just want to get out. So I'll manage." So we kept going, and I saw we made it to the 27th staircase, 25, going to the 15, and we keep going. I'm like, oh gosh, we almost there, we almost there. And Rosa, we holding each other's hand. I'm like, oh, we almost there. And when I made it to the 13th staircase, I remember I stopped and I leaned over to Rosa and I said, oh, my feet is killing me. I said, I can't do it. I need to take my shoes off now. My feet was killing me. And I held onto Rosa's shoulder and I bent over to take my shoes off. And I was unzipping my shoes, twist my right foot, and I unzipping my shoes. And before I could even stand back up or stand in a standing position, I felt like the walls, the dust, the rumble, everything just come crashing down. I felt the darkness, everything just come crashing down. On top of me, Rosa pulled away her hands and it knocked me to the floor. And I just lay there, everything just, I could hear the rumbling, the dust, the darkness, and it just kept coming until it came to a complete stop. I wasn't tumbling, wasn't a tumbling moment. I wasn't falling down. I just take my hands and I cover my face and everything was just falling on top of me. And in that time, I knew when it came to a complete stop, it was dead silence. It was so silent. I knew to myself, because I'm still conscious, I said, no, this is a really bad dream I'm having. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be out of this dream. And I shut my eyes and for a quick second, then I open my eyes again, but I can't see anything. And I realized that I'm not dreaming because I couldn't move. I was completely stuck under the rubble. My feet were crisscrossed. My hand were under my stomach. I had my left hand was the only thing to move that I can move to feel what was around me. And the dust in my mouth and my nose. And I started to feel what was beneath me was above me. I could only feel like concrete and debris. And I said to myself, oh my God, this is happening. This is actually happening. And the building just collapsed. And I'm just going to suffocate under here and die. And I'm going to see myself slowly dying. I couldn't move. My head was, for some reason, got stuck between the concrete pillar and was grasping on the concrete was just grinding on my earlobes and my face. And I could not move. I could not move in a crisscross position. I couldn't move. And, my life just flashed right before me, right there. I fell asleep again briefly, thinking that it's still a dream and I'm going to wake up from the dream. But when I realized I'm awake and I'm conscious and I could hear everything around me, I knew I wasn't going to make it. I knew I was going to die because the building of 110 stories, 80 something floor, came crashing down. I knew no one was gonna find me that day alive under the rubble. And I just lay there, and honestly, I was just like preparing myself to not wake up and just be gone. The pain was getting so excruciating. I couldn't feel my legs no more. I started to feel a hot air. It was getting hot, and then it was getting shivering cold. My teeth started to shackle and everything. I believe that was probably, it was coming closer to the nighttime. And I was just laying there, and I just knew my family, what's gonna happen. You know, they're not gonna have a burial for me. Everything was going through my mind, except like I wanted to pray, and I just, the words just couldn't come. It just couldn't. My mom passed away in 4th of July 1999, and I started to think about her. I remember what she said to me, always tell me to live a good life, give your life to Jesus, be a good godly example for your kids, for my daughter, and be submissive to God. And I grew up with going to church and everything. I knew Jesus Christ. I knew him, but I didn't want that kind of conservative life. I rejected that life because I wanted to just live according to me, what I wanted to do. Because I was just I like to go out, I party, and I party hard, and I just, it's just all about me. It's my world, and I want to become a movie star, an actress, a dancer. That was my dream, to come into America, to live the life, live the American dream. And being under the rubble, it taught me difference. I was just buried, and I guess I get the time to reflect and basically to give my life to Jesus Christ that day under the rubble. And I cried out. No one heard me, and I just started to cry out to God. I just started to seek God and ask for a miracle. I was like crying and begging God to give me a second chance to see Kimberly, my daughter. She was 12 at the time.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to see Kimberly. I wanted to see my family, my sisters, my boyfriend at the time. So I was just begging and praying for a miracle to happen because I was still breathing. I was alive, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I and during that moment, I heard a voice, someone cry out for help, but the voice sounds so faint. So I knew that person passed in that moment while I was there. I heard the man call out, help, help. And I knew people passed out right there beside me. Rosa, she pulled away from me, so we weren't together. We didn't fall together. She ran away from me when the building collapsed, and I don't know where she went to, but I was under the rubble. Just, I guess it's just God was just giving me time, and I kept on praying, asking for a second chance, and just started to talk to God. I knew I wasn't praying out loud and carrying on. It was just a meditated prayer. It was a silent prayer. But the the burning in my heart and the change that I wanted to make, I was trying to let God see that I will change if He give me a second chance. If I would accept Him as my Lord and my Savior, and I was making promises to Him that I would change, I would live my life according to His will, I would do whatever if you just give me this second chance. And I kept on just saying, God, just hear me. Just, I might just give me this chance, and I promise I would do your will. And I kept saying that over and over, asking God to listen to me, to hear me. And during that time, I felt like I wanted to give up. But I kept going, saying it in my mind. And I used my left hand to feel, what was above me, because my head felt like it was going to explode. My head was like, it felt like it was swollen because the concrete was just brushing on my head. And I started to feel what's underneath me and what's above me. And when I put my hands underneath me, I felt a softness. I felt a softness underneath me, like, and I knew it was a body. I don't know how I get laid on top of that body, but I got a little cushion with that body. I felt something really soft. And after I was rescued, yes, there was a body beneath me when they told me about it. And during that time, just asking for this miracle, I put my left hand up and I felt like if my left hand was in an open pocket, like I felt like if it was in an open pocket. And I kept it there for some reason because I can't move my head, I can't move my body to maneuver to get a better um, space to relax because I'm completely pinned and my legs are crisscrossed. And I said, God, I can't take it. The pain started to come on my head. I said, Lord, I can't take it no more. I can't. Please, God, just hear me. Just give me the second chance. And I knew I was awake and I knew I was not sleeping. And I felt in that moment, somebody grabbed me by my hand and they called me by my name and they told me their name, said, Genelle, I got you. My name is Paul.
Wow.
And when that person hold my hand and I felt it and I squeezed the person's hand, I held onto his hand so tight. But his name registered right away in my mind, Paul, because I knew I wanted to meet Paul, because this is the guy holding my hand. And when he held my hand, he said, my name is Paul, I got you. I said to myself, I said, thank God. And my body felt relaxed and I kept holding his hand. He said, just hold onto my hand. I'm not going to let you go. Keep holding my hand until someone gets here. And I thought, oh my God. And I was like, I knew I was like trying to lift my head, trying to open my eyes, but the dust, I couldn't. And he said, you're going to be fine. Just call out to the rescuer now. The rescuer is here. Call out and they will hear you. And I kept holding his hand and just registering his name. And then I would hear the rescue team. I hear the bickering of the machines and the walkie-talkie going on. And I heard somebody say, hello, is anybody up there? Is anybody? And I heard the voices calling on. And Paul kept saying, keep talking, Genelle. I got you. Just keep talking. And I said, okay. I said, yes, I'm up here. I'm up here. So Paul is holding my hand and he's telling me to make sure to keep talking to the rescuers. And I said, yes, I'm up here. They said, hello, what's your name? What floor are you on? I told them my name. I told them I'm on the 13th floor. And and they said this, we almost there, hang on. And I was hearing them going off, getting closer and closer. And Paul kept holding my hand and I just saying, oh God, oh God. And he just said, you're doing fine, you're doing fine. I'm not gonna let you go. I'm not gonna let you go. And I said to him, are they there yet? Are they there yet? He said, no, but keep talking. And then the rescuer they call out again. And I'm like, I'm up here. My name is Genelle. And they were shining a light or something. They came above the collapse and they apparently were shining a light or something. And they asked, could you see the light? Could you see the light? I said, no, I can't see the light. I can't see the light because my face is all slumped down. I'm very down. I can't see the light. And they said, hold on. And they kept talking with each other. And then I heard one of the guys said, oh, I see her. I see her. And then when they said that, they see her, and then I heard the machine coming down and the thing. And then one of the guy was coming close and he said, hold on, I got you. And then Paul keeps saying, I'm here. I'm not going to let you go. Just keep holding my hand until they get here. And Paul keep holding my hand. And within that time, when the guy was almost there, I felt they pulled the concrete was above my head. And then he said, oh, I got you this time. He said, okay, I got her. Call her to the other guy. And Paul let go. Paul was gone. And when the guy came and he took the concrete off, and they all came down and they started to strap me up and do whatever. And they were lifting me out. It was so steep. It was really deep. They were they strapped me on the gurney and they were like passing me from hand to hand. And I was conscious. So they were lifting me out of the wherever in the pit and taking me all the way up. Then they were walking a long way up and down. It was a whole process, but I was conscious. I knew exactly what was going on. And then the guys, they were talking with me, and and I knew I was smiling because the guy said, "You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. We're gonna." And I was like, "Oh, am I there yet? Am I there yet?" I was asking the guy, and and then I could feel when I got to the open, because the sun hit my eyes. I can't see, but I felt like the glare. You're asleep, but something is shining. So I felt I was in the open, and while they were taking me out, I started to open my eyes a little bit. And I could hear a lot of people was around. They were getting me to the EMS truck, to the ambulance, and a lot of people were around. And I heard some clapping. Some people were clapping, and when I got to the ambulance, the guy put the things in my mouth and my eyes, and then I was able to see them, and then we were talking, and they put me in the ambulance, and we were going in the ambulance, and I was telling them my name, what I was doing on the 64th floor. I was conscious, and I knew I had a smile on my face. And the guys, the EMS worker was saying, like, they were saying to each other, "Oh, maybe she's, it didn't register yet with her what happened. Maybe it's a shock she isn't." And I give them my phone number. I give them all the information to get in contact with my family. And they drove me to the Bellevue Hospital. And in the ambulance, when you see an ambulance going all crazy and the siren going off, sometimes I say to myself, "Oh, they don't have anybody in there. They just want to pass. They just want to pass the road." But I knew somebody was in here, and I knew they were hustling to get me to the hospital. And because I couldn't feel my legs, I couldn't feel my body. It's just my voice. Everything else was working fine, but I felt numb. And when I got to the hospital, that's when she just put me on. I remember it's like it was a cold steel bed, like, and they were just ripping all my clothes off, and the doctors were just coming on so busy with all the knives and everything else, and I was like, I was looking at them, and they were like, "What's your name?" And everybody asking, information. I'm like, "Okay, my name is Genelle. I work there, and my boyfriend is Roger. My sisters, and and I give them the correct information, and then they rushed me into the emergency room. And when I got out, I had a surgery on my leg, and then I saw my family. I came, and when I went on the bed, my family was there, and they were all around me, and I was like, they were like, everybody was crying. Are you guys crying? I'm like, what? I'm here, because I'm the one, like, I felt I gave my life to Jesus Christ that day, and there was like a joy. It was just like a blessing. I'm alive, and I, I was happy. I was in a happy place. So when I see my family and they come to my bedside, looked at me and like crying, they couldn't recognize me, and I didn't know what I looked like. I didn't know why they were crying, because I didn't know what I looked like. My head was like blown up 3 times my side. My face was all purple black, and all the dust and everything. All my eyes were purple. I was looking really scary because I was buried for 27 hours. So
Wow.
all the body was just blown up. And I asked my sister when she came, she said, she looked at me and she was like, she turned away. I said, "Well, can I at least see a mirror? What, can you give me a mirror to know why?" And when the nurse give me the mirror, like, I didn't recognize me. I didn't recognize me, and I knew. So, so I stayed at that hospital for at least like 7, 8 weeks.
Wow.
I had 4 surgery done on my right leg, so my right leg was crushed. Uh, on the second surgery, then the third surgery. The second surgery, it was I wasn't doing well. The third surgery, it still wasn't doing well. The doctor called in my family and told me that let the family know that if it's anything, they may have to amputate the leg because it's not responding to what it's supposed to be doing. And because of blood clot and all these things. Like, and when I heard that, I was like, and this is 3 surgeries already. And my family coming in, my most of part of my family Christian, and my sister is a strong Christian, and she would come to the hospital every day and we would pray and everything. And I was learning the Bible and everything, being in the hospital. And we pray about it when I had to go into the fourth surgery. We were praying and praying, and I asked God, I said, God, you brought me this far, not my leg, you know. And on the fourth surgery, when I came back out, it was scary because I saw my legs all banded up, and I thought they took my leg, but and the doctor just calmly rushed to me and said, "We saved your leg, we didn't take your leg," and that was a blessing. But I knew somehow I knew that God was part of that. He was part of that, saving my leg, and so they saved my leg. But I had a permanent limp, a permanent disability on my right leg, and which prevents me from wearing my high heel shoes that I'm so loving.
Yeah. Oh,
So the doctor have a permanent limp. So the doctor said, well, you have to have customized shoes, and you will be able to walk as normal because you have that dorsal flex is not flexible. And I have to wear the brace. I had to learn to walk again. It took me a year to actually learn to walk unassisted. And when I got home, I spent time going outside, outpatient therapy as well,
hmm.
physical therapy, everything. And I remember after that year, which it happened in September, I think was the next year, closer to the Christmas time, doing all the therapy and everything. I decided to take the boot off my leg and try to put on a normal shoes, so see if I can walk in a shoes. And it happened. I put on a boots, a high knee high boots, and I was able to walk in it. And I was practicing in the house,
Oh,
and I was able to walk in it again. And as of today, thank God, I've been walking in my high heel shoes, no problem.
no
None at all.
kidding. That is that is incredible. What an incredible story. And so as far as it changing your life, it pushed you into finding God, or you had already known him, but it really pushed you that way. Is there anything else that it changed for you, or anything else that's real significant like that?
It really changed me personally, me as being Genelle Guzman. It changed my lifestyle. It gave me a better prospect on life, and knowing that life is so tangible and anything can happen in a nick of time. And if you don't have Christ in the center of your life, what do you have? And it really draws to my attention of what my mom and what my sisters who's Christians and my Christian friends, of course, who always tells me, it's not that you're going to miss anything from this world. We could enjoy life being Christian as well. We don't have to do everything. We don't have to be in everything. And I understand that as today. And as a matter of fact, when I got out of the hospital after all my surgery and everything, the first thing I did was get baptized, go to the Brooklyn Tabernacle. I got baptized at the church, I get married, and I've been a born again Christian since September 12, 2001. And the life I'm living now, it just proved that God is real, He is alive, and He answers silence prayer. And we just have to put Him first in the center of everything. Because without God, it's not by my strength that I kept holding on under that rubble. It wasn't me. It wasn't my strength. It was God's strength that's holding me there. And I believe in Him, and I believe in miracle. Because honestly, up to this day, I have never found my rescuer, Paul, the guy who was over my head.
I was going to ask who Paul was and if you had run into him at all, or if the rescuers saw him.
No, the rescuer did not. And I've been looking for Paul ever since. I've been on all the news media and said, "Oh, do you remember the guy who was holding my hand? His name is Paul. Will I ever meet Paul?" No one ever came forward to say, I'm the one who had that conversation with you. So after I wrote my book and everything, I I named the book Angel in the Rubble because it was truly an angel in that rubble. And I talked to my pastor before writing the book as well. And he said, there are angels. And do you believe in angels? And, you believe in miracles. He said, but Paul, he was an angel. Definitely. That was an angel. And I hear people tell story before, growing up, going to church with my mom and people give testimony and stuff and things that happened to them. I used to be like, they're just making that up, you know. But I was conscious. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew exactly. And that man called me by my name, tell me his name. Because when I got to the hospital, I told my husband now, Roger, I told him, could you write that name down? And he wrote it down. I said, the guy who was holding my hand, his name is Paul. And he wrote that name down. And every time I've been looking for Paul. He never
Wow.
appeared.
Wow. What an incredible story.
9/11 really impacted my life. It made me a better person. I mean, I wasn't a bad person, but the lifestyle it wasn't in sync with
Mm-hmm.
what God wanted me to do. And it's like my best friend who became a Christian before me, she was always encouraging me. Hey, you gotta stop living that life. You gotta do something with your life. It's not about just living, and just ignoring God. So it I had a wake up call. I had a rude awakening. And you know what? Despite my injury, despite what I go through, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. I thank God that I found him, and I think I desperately needed him, and it was the right time. Some people say, "Oh my God, how could you survive that? How did you make it? How did you eat? How did you sleep? Did you get anxiety attack after all of this?" Honestly, Katie, I have never gotten any anxiety or depression attacks since after that.
Wow.
I didn't. I had a psychiatrist, what they recommended,
Yeah.
because he said trauma you need. And I couldn't do it. I told him, I said, I don't need to be going to a psychiatrist no more. God is my psychiatrist because it I was in a different place. I mean, don't get me wrong, psychology and it's okay. People need to, talk about their problem. But
Yeah.
I was so in sync with the Bible. I was so in sync with my sister teaching me the Bible, going to church, understanding the world, understanding what God wants of me. And so all my help came from the Lord. I was in a happy place. I was good. I was just grateful, and I am forever grateful for that because I knew this life, I was meant to be here. My friend, I lost all my coworkers that day. And I asked myself, why me? Because honestly, God have a plan and a purpose for everybody. I still don't know what the plan and the purpose is for my life. But the fact that I'm still breathing, I'm still here, is something really good. And out of all of this, I ended up having my two kids, which the doctor was before had so much complication of having kids, and these two kids come after 9/11. It's just a blessing. It's just a
Wow.
blessing.
It's incredible. Congratulations. And
Another
so
person.
you mentioned a bit about your book. What inspired you to write it?
Wow, I was inspired to write this book through a friend, through Bill, my co-ghostwriter as well, because he heard my story, he heard me give my testimony, and he was like badgering me about, why don't you put this in writing? You talk about it so eloquently, you talk about it so vividly. Why don't you just write this? Sit down, take some time and write it. And I like a book, like, yeah, and I procrastinated for a very long time. And for some reason, I think it was in 2010, no, 2009, I decided I started to write some stuff down. And then I contacted him and I said, hey, could you help me? Would you be able to help me in writing that? I think I'm ready to write it. And not for nothing, when we started, didn't know that the book was going to be done for 2010, for the 10th anniversary. So I wrote the book. I sent him the manuscript. I wrote part by part, and then we meet up with each other, we connect, and we get together. And he helped, and I helped, and we were. It was a lot. It was a lot of questions, a lot of writing, a lot of back and forth with emails and stuff. And we finally get it done, the manuscript. We put it out, get a publisher. Simon and Schuster took it up in a heartbeat, and that's when I decided on the name. And I said, Angel and a Rubble, that's what it is. And I wanted to write the book, but I don't think I'll write other book because because I tell my testimony so many times. I like I don't know the fall of what it would be, but he encouraged me to do it. I was really inspired to do it by Bill, like in my how I tell my testimony so well. So I was inspired by Bill for sure, and I liked it. I liked it. It was yeah, and I see it become a blessing to many since I put the book out there. I got a lot of feedback. A lot of people was encouraging, and I wanted to do that. So everything I wrote in that book, I just wanted to be my story, what happened to me, and let people know that there is a God and there is hope, and we could overcome our adversity. We could. You just have to believe in a higher power and trust in
I feel like I know what your purpose is just from hearing you talk. I know you said you're not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
that. uh, yeah, somewhat. I feel, I really wanted to do like minister and stuff, pastors and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, like just counseling and being an inspiration to people, it's good enough for me. I think my heart is so big and I want to do so much. I mean, when I give my testimony, when I'm invited to do stuff like this, I just jump at the opportunity because I want to. It's not because of the money and all this thing. It's just because you want people to hear the word. It's like I said, I want to win souls for Jesus Christ. It's like the more you tell people, the more they look at you and they're like, if she can do, if she went through that, she can. It changed her life. The young people, everybody out there. I just want to make that change. People to know that it's not it's not in your time, it's always in God's time. It doesn't matter the age because I was like 29, 30 at that time, and I'm like, I'm living my life. I'm not going to be a Christian until I'm 60, until I'm 70, 80, when I can't dance no more. but so I want people to be encouraged in that, you can enjoy life, but hey, we have to have something to believe in. We have to have something to trust in. We have to be able to make our life align with a certain power because everything could be gone just like that. Just like that. My
So
friends
true.
were gone just like that. Did they get a second chance? I was fortunate to get a second chance, and I'm forever grateful. And I pray that all my friends and coworkers who I lost that day, I just hope they get that chance to even say, God, forgive me. You know, I was given that chance.
Oh, what an incredible story, Genelle. Have you been back to the site since?
Yeah, I've been back to this site. I think it's in 2015. I wasn't rushing to go back to the site. Our office is still down there. I have the office. We are located at the World Trade Center. And I've been there to tell a story and visit the museum and everything. Um, and what they did there, it I think it was meant to be,
Mhm.
like leaving that space. You been to the site?
I have not,
Oh,
no.
so they did a wonderful thing there, and it was. I think it was good for me. It was closure for me to go there, but I didn't rush 5 years. Then no, I think I went there like in late 2015, 2016, somewhere there, and it was okay. Bring closure to me.
I'm
Okay.
sure you probably had a variety of feelings. Oh, did you feel overwhelmed or
At first, yes, because when I see all the names on the plaque,
yeah,
the first name I went to look for was my friend Rosa, who passed away, Suzanne, and all my other coworkers. Yeah, that bring back a lot of Russian memory because seeing them in the office, seeing to myself, Rosa was holding my hand. We could have been telling the story together,
yeah,
but I don't know the plan that God had for Rosa. Um, but now I never take my kids. I always promise my kids that I'll take them to visit the site. They've never been to the site. Um, I think sometime I will try to do that, but because now I'm stronger, I know I can handle it, so I wouldn't mind taking them this time. But yeah, it when I did go back, it was overwhelming, but I
yeah.
get through it. I get through it.
Oh, good. I'm glad that it offered a bit of closure for you too. That's so important.
Yes, yes, it did. It did.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. I don't know how many times I got the chills up and down my body. Um, when you were talking about Paul, I had a feeling that Paul might have been an angel. I really, truly had a feeling.
Oh,
Um, and I think that that is just, it's incredible. And I appreciate that you share that and you share all of those details and the miracle that truly happened to you. I mean,
yes.
I, I, congratulations for your, I mean, just, I don't even know the words to use to, to share
Yeah,
what's in my heart right now.
yeah. It's I'm alive. I'm here. I'm doing well. It's been 21 years, and I think God is still working on me. We have our ups and downs, but I try to stay focused and remember why am I here. And despite everything that is going on in this world today, it's crazy, and I'm just trying to be live the best life I can live, and totally trying to live it for Jesus Christ. And I just want to encourage people to wake up and and that things could happen in a nick of time, and we don't have to wait for that to happen. We just gotta do what's right now.
I agree. I think, thank you for sharing that. I think that is such a huge message because it's so true. And, some of us that have been through big events like this or have unfortunately suffered loss in their lifetime that came upon quickly that, was unexpected. I think they can certainly relate with that too. And it's such an important message. It's so important to keep in mind and hard
Right.
when you're just kind of going through life and you're doing your thing
Yeah,
and you don't think that, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I had a fight over something silly with my husband and it's possible he might not come home.
yes,
And we don't think of that all the time.
yeah. We don't. 'Cause, we think we are invisible, and it's not gonna happen to us.
Yeah.
And now when I see all what's happening in the world, the building collapse, the flooding, all these things, I said, I know what these people going through. So, some survivors, I've been there, what they're going through. And I knew people come out of this with a change attitude. But it don't have to be that way for us. But it's inevitable what's going to happen in our life.
Right.
But we don't have to wait for the worst to happen to know that, believe in something. You know.
Yeah, I agree. What an incredible message. What an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing a bit of yourself with us. Thank you for your time. I know time is precious. And I am so grateful that you shared this with us and shared that message. I do have, for those of you out there that are interested in her book, Angel and the Rebel, I do have a link to that here in the show notes. So real quick and easy for you guys to check that out. And I highly encourage that you do. If you'd like to check out any of our previous episodes, hop on over to our YouTube channel. It is at Mom Nation USA. That's our handle. Scroll down just a little ways. You will see the From the Heart playlist there. And that is where we are, along with several other previous episodes. If you are more of a podcast listener, you maybe hike a lot, bike a lot, that kind of thing, then hop on over to your favorite podcast platform and do a quick search for Mom Nation Talk Radio. Like it, notify, all the things, and you will never miss an episode. Thank you all so much for being with us. Thanks, Genelle.
Thank you, Katie. Enjoy.